Hi, so we are here with Emalydia Flenory, and she is a director out of Oregon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and she's a director, she's been in business for 3 years, and she is here to talk to us about how to get connected with our clients and how to make education during parties and in your VIP groups fun. So I'll let Emalydia tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started and why you joined the company, what was your purpose for joining the business to begin with?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. So I was born and raised there, did my undergrad there, and I recently moved out to Oregon to pursue my master's. So I'm a recent transplant of Oregon. But I originally started this right about when I graduated, a few months after with my undergrad, because I knew my loans were going to start kicking in. I had gone to a few parties with a friend beforehand. And, when you're doing it right, you should be, booking all the parties at the parties. And so I kind of got in this web of parties that I kept getting invited to. And my sponsor, her name's Callie Winkler, she was the consultant every single time. And so by the time I went to my 6th or 7th party with her, I knew everything she was going to say. I knew all the things. And so finally I was like, okay, this seems legit. I think I could do this. It sounds fun. I like the product. So I kind of just told myself I'll try it out, and if I hate it, I'll just keep the product, and hopefully I'll make my money back. But if it works, then great. And I think I made my money back in the first month after that, and saw the money, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with this. And 3 years later, here we are. So yeah, it's turned into more than I thought it would be. I think now it's still definitely, I put part-time hours into it, but it's definitely kind of turned more into a hobby for me with, giving me a break from grad school. Because when I started, I was working full-time, and then I also did this. So it's been nice to use it in a different way for my mental health now. So
awesome. So so you started 3 years ago, so what was 2017? Did you create a VIP group back then, or did you recently create one? When did you start your own VIP group?
I think I started my VIP like a year in. So yeah, so kind of wasn't super right in the beginning, because what I did initially is I used it as part of an incentive. So if someone spent $100, I would give them a coupon, but then I would also put them in my VIP group. So I would say in the beginning it was slower to grow because I was making it a part of my incentives. Now I kind of just throw everybody in there because I think it works a little bit better that way, and your advantage. Why gatekeep for something small like that? When, in the long run, they could be spending lots of money with you and learning a lot from you. So now it grows at a much higher or quicker rate than it did when I first started.
That's awesome. Do you mind if I ask how many girls you have in your VIP group?
Right now I have just under 300. I just cleaned out a little bit. But yeah, so right around 300.
Definitely have to clean out every now and then, for sure. Get rid of that dead weight so you get some fresh blood moving in there. So what kind of things do you do, whether it's in your VIP group or outside of your VIP group, what kind of things do you do to make your clients feel special or to connect with your clients?
So yeah, so I need some notes from the question. So I have some of that there.
Not a problem.
But one of the things I really like to do, and this might be the teacher in me, but I really like getting feedback. And so I'm constantly asking for feedback, asking for kind of what do they want, right? Because I may think something's super cool and they could totally not be into it. So I definitely, especially with my VIP, I try to change it up. I get bored, and I know they get bored. So for, I think it was 6 months, I would put up polls for them and say, what are you interested in for this week? And so every single week I was doing a live video talking about different topics, talking about vaginal health, talking about essential oils, talking about how do you choose a toy that's right for you. And I did that for 6 months, and then I could see most people, they weren't always watching all the time. So I'm like, cool, did a different poll. I'm like, what more do you want to see? Do you want more articles? Do you want more quizzes? Do you want this? So I would say that's what I do in my VIP group to like make them interested and feel kind of invested in the business, because if I'm not doing things that interest them and include them, why am I here? I want to do things that they're really going to enjoy rather than me just like guessing and assuming what they want. Outside of that, I do a lot of just review forms. So especially with product testers, once they have the products, they get to try them out for 2 weeks. I send them a Google form where they can just, tell me exactly what they thought of the products they tried. And I let them know that this is important to me, because I want to know, I don't want to start showing a product that they are really enjoying, and then it helps me know what I can talk about. If people are telling me the different ways that they use it, or the different ways that it, made them happy, or, gave them wonderful orgasms, things like that. So I think constantly being able to receive that feedback from them is really important, and it makes my brand more unique to my customer base, I think.
That's awesome. So getting feedback, that's a great one. I guess outside of so that's mostly in your VIP group, right? Most of the stuff you do.
Yeah.
What kind of things, let's say, because parties are going to start back up again. Did you do anything in like at the parties to make that connection with them, or to I guess create the relationship with them? What kind of things do you do at a party to make them feel special?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of sort of being not a creeper during the parties, but just listening. Listening to the little side conversations, listening to when you first get there, right? And you're talking to them. And, maybe you're talking to one, but there's a couple talking off to the side, because when you're talking about a product, sometimes you can reference something that they were saying, or, they have a joke about something, and you can be like, oh yeah, you could use this when you were, I don't know, doing lawn work or whatever. Like, you can reference the things that are in their life, and it just shows them that you are paying attention to them. And it isn't, yes, it's practice, right? It's kind of you get into the groove and you can kind of, do the demos in your sleep, but knowing that you're paying attention and kind of can include their lives into what you're talking about. I think that can really make every party that you do a little more personal. And I think that's, it makes the people that come to your parties often not bored, because there's going to be new things you can reference every time.
Did you do anything in the shopping room?
Yeah. So I always start off asking, how was it? Was this what you expected? Is this your first time? Do you have any questions about anything? And definitely, I feel like people probably say this often, but like, you want them to talk more than you're speaking, right? You can word vomit all over them, and sometimes that can turn them off, but more so it shows that you're not really invested in their particular needs. It kind of gives the indication that you're just more interested in like making the sale. So if you can ask the question and then shut up and just let them speak and tell you what they need, what they're curious about, maybe what they're not really sure about, what they don't know, you can learn a lot in that, in making sure that particular instance with that person is special, and they can kind of trust you in that space.
How do you remember certain things about clients to make them feel special later? Do you take notes, or do you just have that memory of clients in the shopping room?
I think I'm good in person. I would say it takes me a little bit, like, I'm good at booking parties with the same people, and I'm good at follow-up. So I think through that, or like the creeping on the Facebook, I just start to remember, like, oh, they're the person who's always posting about their dog, you know what I mean? Or, oh, they have, like, 4 kids. So I can start to kind of do those types of things. I think right off the bat, less about memory and more just asking them questions and having a conversation, because something will come out and something will stick. So I don't really up on trying to be like, okay, she had the red shirt and I need to know that she, you know what I mean? I'm more thinking about through that conversation, is there something that can come up, and then later on, that's something I can recall, rather than trying to be so hung up on names in the moment, because that'll stress me out personally.
Right, making that genuine connection in the shopping room.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so just finding that common ground with that other person and creating that real connection. So let's shift gears here and let's talk about the education aspect of it. So where do you find your resources to use for sexual education?
So of course, CLO training site, awesome. Okay. I learn a lot also off Instagram. So I would say I use a lot of my Instagram in a similar way where I'll promote sales and things like that, but I do a lot of sharing of sexual health information or just stuff that corporate is doing. So I tend to follow other sexual health therapists, or sometimes like sex workers can actually be posting a lot of really awesome content that's really educational. And you know, they have the picture that looks really pretty, but they will a lot of times in these, you know, if it's a gynecologist or whoever, will have a lot of information in the comments of it, or the caption, sorry. And you can look through there and then you can just share that onto your page, right? So a lot of it, I'm really learning from Instagram and sexual health advocates. I follow this one page. Not Planned Parenthood, but I think it's like the Planned Parenthood of Canada, basically. And they have a really good page that has like all these really good one-liner graphics that's just big, pretty, bold words, and then a lot of great information in their links. So I really learn a lot from them. And I think it can be really helpful to just get other voices, right? Like corporate can't catch it all. They're not going to have every single representative voice in the content that they're doing. So I would say look through Instagram, look through other social medias.
Very true. I love finding social media platforms where there's or somebody to follow. And I know our Doctors of Pure Romance. I follow them.
Right.
And
yeah.
They're fantastic to follow as well. So how do you incorporate all of that into a party or to your VIP group, but also keep your clients engaged and making it fun? How do you do both?
Yeah. So I think when I'm doing my demos, right, I think a lot of it has to do with making the scenarios like sound normal, right? So for example, when I'm doing like my Benoit ball or exerciser demo, one of the things that I talk about, or sorry, not that demo, where am I in my line? Lubricant demo. I talk about how, you know, sometimes if you're having some solo time or you're having intercourse and you do that post-pee, which you should, and it feels like you're pissing fire, right? Like that's something that that probably happens to a lot of people, but they're like, that's just me, I don't know what's going on, right? But if you can say it in a way, like you just say it matter-of-factly, like that's just the thing, I think it can really like bring down some walls and people realize that these are very normal things that are happening, and they don't need to be nervous to either laugh about it or actually, you know, speak up and say, oh yeah, that happened to me this one time and here's what I did. And I think like if you can start to normalize the information into your demos, it doesn't sound so clinical and it doesn't sound something that's really far-fetched that doesn't happen often to people. So yeah, with that one, I'm like, you probably don't have anything. It's probably you just had too much friction down there, right? That's why you need lube, and you just kind of keep going. So I think that's how you can make it fun, is don't, it shouldn't feel like, what's the word? Like paper mache together. Like it should feel like, it shouldn't feel like now I'm talking about the product and here's sexual health, and now I'm talking about the next product and here's sexual health. You can talk about them together in that way.
Just incorporate it into the product demo and telling them why they need it versus what they can do with it, but why they actually physically need it. So,
exactly.
So what, can you tell us a couple fun facts, sexual health facts, or share some sexual health knowledge with us real quick?
Sexual health facts, or you said, what was it? Sexual health facts or knowledge? Was that the last? When I talk about Benoit balls or exercise her, I do say, because I think a lot of people get nervous to use those because they're like, where are they going to go? So one image I always say is our vaginas are cul-de-sacs, they're not tunnels. So like they're not going to end up in like your lungs or any strange place. So just kind of having anatomical knowledge is helpful. The penis is porous. That's, I think, a really good fact to know. So especially if the person is having intercourse with someone who has a penis and they're having unprotected sex, if you're trying to kind of explain the value of having a lubricant, usually there's at least one person that's like, I'm Niagara Falls, I don't need that, I'm good. But if that's the case, if you're having extended periods of sex and things like that, like you can end up becoming dry because the penis will literally like suck the wetness out of us. So either way, it's important to have that lubricant there. Those are two off the top of my head that I can think of.
I love that. I always forget that one. It's like the penis is like a sponge. It's going to take it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one I actually remember with the vaginal wetness, when the girls were like, oh my God, it's like Niagara Falls, is to recommend her go to the bathroom, put in a tampon for 30 seconds, and then take it right back out. And then and she's not too lubricated where it's just not exciting or fun. Right. So that's another.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to share with us that you think would be helpful for us to know?
I think one thing that I wanted to note about, like, kind of keeping it fresh, because one of them was like, how do you, I think, Ashlyn, you may have asked this, like, how do you get those repeat customers? Like, how do you recruit in? So one of the ways I do that is, I think, finding like what are the platforms you want to use and being intentional about how you want to use them. So I know Facebook is my place to do the parties. It's my place to do a lot of resurfacing. You know, you can do that through Media Center and text messages, but a lot of people are on Facebook, so you can just do those, you know, personal messaging, things like that. But I use Instagram as a place. I know I'm not going to hold a party on there, right? I do get sales every once in a while, but I use that more of a promotional place, right? A place where they, because it's easier to quickly share, you know, the sexual health stuff than it is for me to like get it, you know, take a screenshot, put it in the group. So I use that more of a platform to kind of do more marketing and then drive those customers who are interested into my VIPs. So I think first knowing what is the purpose of that. Some people really like to use Snapchat. Some people are really onto TikTok now. I promise myself I won't do TikTok because I will never leave. It'll be a rabbit hole for myself if I don't have self-control. But know what platforms you want to use, and then be intentional about what you're using there. The other thing is to keep them interested is like kind of what I was saying before is like change things up, be creative, try different things. You don't have to make everything you're doing, especially in your VIP group, for the purpose of a sale, right? You can do something just to have fun. Like I just did, I had no idea how it was going to go, and it ended up going really well. A Dear Abby night where I literally made a Google form, and I was like, I'm going to have a drink and just go on Facebook Live, and you can put up these just anonymous things you want to have advice on. I don't know if I'm going to give the best advice, but I'll do it. And it became really fun. I got like,
I love that idea.
7 things. Yeah. And it's just like, they want to know that you're like normal and not every encounter with you is going to be something about the business. Right. And in the thread, like people were giving each other like advice, and it just became really fun. So just try, you know, do that, switch up, you know, your little, like what you're raffling off, right? Like I like to do raffles all the time, but like in my mind, like if I'm a frequent customer, like I'm going to get uninterested if every time the person does a raffle, it's the same exact thing. So switch up the foil pack, make up little coupons. I don't know if I have any out here, but I made like little quarantine coupons that just said like, make quarantine a little, you know, sweeter, you know, while restrictions are down, you can get free shipping. So throw those in, like just try different things. And it doesn't need to be something where you feel like, well, if I do this, I have to do it always, all the time. Like you can be okay with doing little things that are going to be temporary, because I think that helps keep it fresh for the people that are going to be routine customers for sure. So yeah, I think that was the last thing I was going to say.
That's awesome. Do you happen to still have that Dear Abby form?
Yeah, it's just a Google form.
Can you share it in our Diva group?
Yeah.
Awesome. But unless there's anything else, Ashlyn, do you have any questions for her right now?
I did. When you do raffles and giveaways and stuff,
Mhm.
always use like, do you use like full Pure Romance products? Do you do like sample packs, or do you like do like random things, like maybe a candle or something from Dollar Tree or something?
It kind of depends on what it's for. So I heard somebody, I can't remember, I was listening to some training, but they were like, you should do a giveaway in your VIP every week. And so I was thinking about how to do that, and I have not implemented that. But it kind of just depends. Sometimes it's, I'm just going to use flash sales because Johnson was talking about flash sales. So I will do different raffles, like if I'm trying to hit goals, right, on a flash sale. So I'm like, if when we hit $1,000, I'll raffle this off. If we hit $2,000, I'll raffle this off. And they'll just get bigger. So those may be full-size products. They could be a toy I got off the sales page, something like that. If it's during a party when they're asking questions, it's usually a little foil pack, a pen, a coupon. Sometimes I use the, do I still have it? Like the, not a foil pack, but like one of these, the 1 ounce size. I'm trying to, I'm having a sale next weekend, an inventory sale. And this is the first time I'm really going to do something that's like not products. I'm going to do like a little mini care thing. So little bath bomb and things like that. So it's just something random. But yeah, so I think it kind of depends on the level of the event, because you don't want to be out money, right? Like you do want it to be something that's like, you're doing something nice, you know, you want to like do something special for them, but you also don't want to like put yourself out of money. So for me, like if I'm going to give a full coochie away because my sale hit 500 to start, like that's nothing for me, right? Because I'm making that money and it doesn't really matter. So I would say, yeah, just be aware of like, what is it for? And just kind of scale the raffle prize you're doing from that.
Okay. And I really appreciate you like sharing your story, because I just graduated my undergrad a few months ago. Just started this month on everything. So
yeah.
It's very inspiring to know that I can get there, because there are some days where I'm a little more discouraged because I've only made one sale so far.
Yeah.
But you've also given it in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So give yourself some time.
But yeah, it's definitely like, it's a weird adjustment, I think, because like no one teaches us, you don't learn in school how to do direct sales, right? Like that's not, so to like learn how to like, you have all the tools and you're like, okay, like what kind of consultant do I want to be? And like, what is my brand? And like, you know, like how do I want to talk to people? What is the verbiage I use? But then I'm also doing something that's like stigmatized. There's like all these different layers to think about when you're first starting, and it totally can be overwhelming. But I think a lot of it is just being comfortable with being like, okay, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have to learn along the way. Some of the sales and ideas I do is going to crash and burn, but I need to do it so I know that they're going to crash and burn so I can try something different. So yeah, it's a learning curve, but once you find your stride, it just, I wouldn't say it comes second nature, because obviously there's going to be challenges, but a lot of the things you'll be able to do it in your sleep. It'll be like nothing. And then that's when you can really like get creative and try different things, because you have like your base, you know?
Right.
How long did it take you to get, to find your stride when you first started?
I would say probably, within the first 6 months. And I think I think also it matters how many parties you're doing, right? Like if you're only doing one party a month, like it's going to take you a while to like get your script down and know how you want to talk about the things. But when I was first starting, I was doing about 4 to 5 parties a month. So I was really getting in there and practicing a lot. So I think it was more concentrated. So it was easier for me to do that. But and then I think it also depends on like, what is your comfortability? Do you know the products, right? Like, have you tried them? Things like that can help as well. Going to training, watching people, oh my God, watch people do demos. Watch more than one person do a demo, because everybody talks about a product differently. Everyone has different one-liners. And you, if you're watching one person and you're like, I would never say it like that, or you're like, that just doesn't feel like me, don't watch that person. Find someone else that like fits more to your personality, so that, because there's like a million of us out here, we all will show similar products, right? So just figure out, I follow other consultants. Like I follow other consultants on Instagram, and I just like, I copy them. I'm like, ooh, I like that graphic. Oh, I really like how they said that. And I'm like, screenshot. I'm gonna use it that way.
I'll save that one for later.
Yep, exactly.
Do you have anything else for her, Ashlyn?
I think I have one more. We were talking about social media. Like right now I have my group, but it only has like 32 people in it, and a lot of them don't get on Facebook very often anymore. Okay. I've also got an Instagram and a Twitter. Is there any other social media outlets that you recommend? And this can go for either one of you.
Mm-hmm. I'm very active on Twitter. However, I don't, and maybe it's just like my spheres of Twitter. I've tried to post things about the business, and I just don't think that's the space, at least for me, to do that. I don't know, Jasmine, if you have that experience, but I wouldn't try to be in too many places at once. And if you are, I think, again, like being intentional about why you're there. So like, is it just going to be sharing? Because some are easier, like it's super easy, like Instagram and Facebook are linked, right? So like it's super easy to just like, you're about to post something on Instagram, so you can just like click share onto Facebook. Like some apps are linked, so it makes it easier to do those kinds of things. But like, don't feel like you need to be on every single one of them, because it could be overwhelming. It's hard to monitor, and they're all meant for different things. So I say like pick two and just figure out like how do you want to use those. And I think with Instagram, you can, here, I'll put my thing in the chat. You can see how mine looks. I have little highlights. So I have like one about, just pure romance stuff, and it might have sexual health stuff in there, and stuff about my sales and stuff corporate's doing. And I have another one that's just reviews, and that makes it easier for people to click through. I have the link to my website. But Facebook, that one's much more like, I do a lot in my group. I'm posting memes, I'm posting articles, I'm going live. But on my main page, I'm doing a lot of sort of like my personality, right? So like I'm a grad student, so I post a lot about like being a student, or being in our grad union. I pepper in some sexual health stuff or stuff about the business, and then just, I love funny memes. I'm part of millennial / Gen Z, so I'm in deep with the memes. So posting those. So I think I'm able to kind of build my presence and my brand on my main page. I can be a little more raunchy in my VIP because of, it's private. And my Instagram is much more like marketing and another way for people to just get that sexual health. So yeah, that's probably more than you asked for, but.
That's good though. So just pick two and stick with those two, probably the two you know how to navigate the best and that you have the best following on, or that you feel that you can, I guess, propel through and gain more following. But is there any more, Ashlyn, that you might have for her?
Those are the main questions. I thank you for your time.
Awesome.
Yeah, of course.
So thank you so much, Emalydia, for coming on here with us. We appreciate you. I appreciate your time. But I am going to jump off here in the meeting, in the recording, and then I will post this on YouTube and I will share it with the team.
Yay, and I'll post the Dear Abby link in the event.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
No problem.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.